Hi, I'm Karen. This video is about how to use Tessa to transfer certificates. So what happens if I want to transfer certificates to another organization? In the next few minutes, I will impersonate a basic user. I will raise a transfer case in Tessa, and then I will impersonate the recipient to approve the transfer. I will then be able to review my cases and my certificates in Tessa, as well as on the public certificate registry. I've logged in as a basic user and have arrived on the landing page. Let's raise a case to transfer certificates. My organization name, ID, and my name have been filled in automatically. First, let's select the recipient organization name. I can scroll up or scroll down, or I can type in a keyword in the search box to filter the results. I will also see the ABN number of the organization if it's applicable. If I have made a mistake, I can choose another organization instead. By default, this checkbox is ticked. This means I can approve the transfer after the recipient has approved. Let's leave this ticked. I see tables showing my certificates by vintage for each scheme. To select a quantity to transfer, I click on the Edit pencil. A pop-up appears. I can then type in the amount to transfer and click Save. If I have made a mistake or I need to delete the quantity, I go back into Edit Row and I can change the quantity, or I can type in 0 to delete and click Save. Let's type this in for now and click Save. I can select multiple vintages to transfer, or different scheme types. In the same case, you will notice my totals have been updated. Please ensure your recipient organization and other transfer details are correct. I can now submit my case. But before I do this, let's look at my existing batches. I go back onto my certificates and I filter on, for example, 2021, which I right click on the 2021 and say Show Matching. And I sort by quantity, where the largest amount appears first. My batch quantity may not match the quantity to transfer. This means a new batch will be created from this to match the quantity. Let's go back and submit my case. After the case is submitted, a case number is generated, and the state of the case is awaiting recipient approval. I can see a snapshot of the variables I selected, and if I scroll down, I can see the certificate batches on process hold, including the new batch created. This means that these batches cannot be used for another transfer until the case is cancelled or completed. Members of the recipient organization will receive an email notification to advise them the case is awaiting their approval. If I have made a mistake before the recipient has approved the transfer, I can click the Cancel button. A confirmation message will appear, and then I can click OK. For now, let's cancel so that we can proceed with this case. Let's go back to my certificates again. And as before, filter on a certain vintage. I can see that batch now for the 3,333, and I can see my original quantity, my original batch, has now updated. The certificate batch status is still active. I will now impersonate the recipient and approve the transfer. I have logged in as the recipient and arrived on the landing page. At any point in time, whether I am the transferor or the recipient, I can always go back to my cases, click on the certificate transfer filter, and I can view my case. I can view transfers awaiting my approval in my approvals list on the landing page, or with the My Approvals widget above. I can then click on the case number and I can see a quick summary of what needs to be approved. To approve, all I need to do is click on the Approve button here, or click this Approve button, or here. Let's approve the transfer. If I go back to the landing page, I will see that case no longer appears on my list to approve. Because the transferor wants to approve again at the end checkbox has been ticked, the state is now awaiting transferor approval. This time, members of the transferor organization will receive a notification. I've logged in as the transferor, and this time I will just approve. The transfer is now complete. Members of my organization will receive an email notification confirming the case status. Please note that if the case has been approved and is complete, I will not be able to cancel the case. As the transferor, the 3,000 odd certificates are no longer in the My Certificates widget unless I was the creator. As the recipient, I now see those 3,000 certificates, and if I click on that badge, I can see the relevant history. I can also view that in the published registry of certificates. How about scenario 2? If I do not need the additional approval at the end, I just make sure the checkbox is unticked, and once the recipient has approved a case, the case will be complete. How about scenario 3? What if I reject or cancel the case? As before, batch will be still on hold, and if I now cancel, or in this example, the recipient rejects, they will need to type in a comment. The state of the case will be rejected, and the My Certificates amount is still active and still remains in my ownership. Let's recap. In TESA, I raised a case to transfer certificates to another organization. The recipient then approved the transfer, and I then approved the transfer at the end. Once the case is complete, the recipient was able to see the newly transferred certificates on the public registry of certificates, as well as on My Certificates widget on the landing page.